We live? Yep, we're live.
Okay, awesome. Hi guys, Amber and I here today to share with you how to hustle. And last week we talked about how to share your story. And I want to ask you guys really, how many of you practiced? Did you do it? Did you practice? Did you work on it? If you didn't,
Frozen on my end. I don't know if you're. It's just me. Okay, she's frozen. I don't know if she knows she's frozen. Okay, I think she's coming back. You guys, this week is going to be super, super good. So you want to keep watching this. Mom, you're frozen. All right, guys. So I'm going to take over for her and hopefully she'll unfreeze. So did you practice your stories? Did you get them written down? I hope you did. If you didn't and you put it off, go do it because you are going to need to be able to have those stories. Because today we're going to talk about talking to people. I'm making sure we're still on because we lost her. We're going to talk about how to talk to people. And guys, this is the root of this business, is talking to people. It's what holds everything together and makes it happen. You're going to have to talk. I'm just going to say it straight out there. If you want to build a great, massive income with Plexus, you're going to have to talk to hundreds and hundreds of people. If that makes you feel kind of nervous or unsure, don't worry about it. We're going to grow and gain that skill. Guys, when I started in Plexus, I just want to remind you, I was 23 years old. I was so nervous. I would get armpit sweat stains when I was talking to people. I remember my husband telling me one time, that was really bad when I was talking to somebody in person, and he wasn't being mean, he was just being real. He's like, that was awkward to watch. So sometimes if you don't have the skill of conversation and it's not an area that you're really familiar or great at, you can grow it and you can gain that skill. Remember, don't ever let anything be an excuse for you, because you can grow and you can learn. So excuses are only reasons to quit that you're allowing to be there. Don't allow it to be there, okay? So talking to people. Here's the great thing about this. There are some very straightforward rules to follow when sharing Plexus and talking to others. So one of the first rules, and I'm just gonna go through them, is don't be attached to the outcome. This is huge, and I want you to embrace this because it's going to affect how you follow up. It's going to affect your entire business. I love the thing of don't let no's sink in and stop you from moving forward, because it'll slow you down. But also don't let maybes slow you down. We were talking about this morning when you're talking. Hey, Mom, you're back.
I'm back. I lost internet.
That's okay. It stayed live. I checked the group. It stayed live.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I just jumped right in and told them not to fear talking to people if that's an area they don't feel firm in, that we have some really good straightforward rules to follow. And I told them how nervous and sweaty and bad I did at first when I was talking to people, and not to let that be an excuse, because they can gain that skill. So I started with rule number 1 of don't be tied to the outcome. So a huge one of the examples we use is you're like a waitress in a restaurant with the coffee pot going around to tables to see if they want more coffee. If they don't want it, it doesn't bother you, right? Because you're just offering something and trying to fill a need if there is one. And if they do want it, great, you fill up their cup. And that's really the attitude and the mentality you want to have with Plexus. A lot of times I see people get the lottery ticket mindset of, okay, I'm going to try this. I'm going to share with a few people. They tell a few people. If those people aren't interested, they're like, I tried. See, I talked to people and they weren't interested. So, and they have the lottery ticket mentality instead of, this is now my business. and my career and my business is talking to others. So I've got to just keep talking, right? Mom, do you have an experience with that?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I love to think of myself as kind of a possibility queen, okay? Because people, we fill a need, guys. And so when it says don't be attached to the outcome, that means we are not in the business, we are not hunter gatherers, okay? We are not trying to get anyone.
Mhm.
If you have that mentality, then it's gonna affect how you relate to people. It's gonna hurt you in your ability to listen because you're not really looking at them as a person with a need. You're looking at yourself as somebody trying to sell something and grab someone, right? So a possibility queen. I love helping people reawaken their dreams. I love listening to someone, even if they don't know that they're telling me why they need plexus from the way that it's going to help them with their health, why they need plexus from the way that it's going to set them free financially, alleviate their stress, help them out with problems that they're having, whether it's somebody that would love to be home with their kids and they're not able to be. Everyone has dreams. And so what you are, and they have goals and they have needs, and they express them on a regular basis. So one of the most important points that she talks about in her book is one that I harp on all the time, and that is listen. Like really listen. I've been out, and I know Amber's had this experience so many times where we're out and about, we're talking to people, we're meeting people, and we really want to create that connection. We're really excited about the person. We want to be their friend. We want to know them. And then they start talking. And basically what they're saying is, I really need plexus. Like, will you please tell me about plexus? And so it's almost like you gotta share, even if you have an appointment you're trying to get to, you have to share because that is that tuned in listening device. And so the point of you're not attached to the outcome, you're in it for them. Yeah,
a huge thing on what you just said, and this is the difference between somebody that has the correct mindset and has the confidence and somebody that doesn't, because I've been both of these people. So when I used to talk to people and listen to people, I was so insecure about sharing plexus because all I was thinking about was me and what they were going to think about me and not about them and what I had to offer them. So now when I hear a conversation or I'm talking to somebody or I see their Facebook post and I recognize the needs, I don't ever have a feeling of, well, what are they going to think? I always have the mentality of excited to share how this is going to fill the need for them. So it's a confident, excited, need filling mentality because I see myself as her second point as a shares person, right? Not as a salesperson. And I did a video a while back in Biz on this. We're not trying to make the sale or get the new ambassador and get and sell. Like Mom said, we're possibility queens. I love that. We're trying to fill needs because once you fill a need, you have somebody for life. And now they are going to go share what they have. So it's way more beneficial if you're going to look at it as a number side in the end as well to be that shares person. But there's you have to have that mentality of for them or else fear and insecurity is going to block you every time. And if that ever does arise, I want you to check it and realize it for what it is. Mom did that for me so many times in the beginning of my journey when I would call her and say, I'm so nervous to do this event, or I'm so nervous to have a sip and see. And she'd be like, Amber, it's not about you. Think about the person. Think about the person. So that's a huge when you're talking to people.
Yeah, and that is part of not being attached to the outcome. And that is a really huge key because we talk stories and you're in their story with them. You get to be a participant in the story with them. you should know by now what you have to offer. This is very, very real. These products work amazingly. The business is incredible for people. I watched Rosalind Payne, Super Saturday Live, and I see Rosalind Payne as a dynamic diamond with all these jewels under her, this fabulous business. But she told her story, and she told about how much she wanted to be that stay-at-home mom, and how she worked this corporate job that was supposed to be 9 to 5, but it actually carried over into a lot more hours. Huge responsibility for her. And now as a diamond, she makes way more than she did at being a slave to her industry. And she's able to be home with her kids, and that is huge. And so when you are not attached to the outcome, you're not attached to the outcome for you, for your own reasons. That's why you're a sharer, not a seller. Less is more. I love that point, because you're not, a lot of times people start this business and they really want to know all the facts. It's great to know the facts, but I promise you, spilling facts at somebody is not going to make them interested. The reason commercials, if you watch commercials these days, and think about this with your social media, is they almost don't even talk about the product that much. They more show like a lifestyle and a branding and that, because people are emotional creatures. They connect and they make emotional decisions. And so less is more. The more you can get them to talk, and the more you're genuinely authentic and interested in them and their story, the better this whole thing is going to go for them, and it's going to go for you too, because you get to be more of a conversationalist. It gets to be this fun, good, rewarding conversation where you've kind of entered into their story. So you're not a convincer, you're listening. Amber, do you want to talk about the what's in it for them?
Yeah, okay, so this is huge, 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 huge. If you take anything away from this, take this away. WIIFT, I think is the acronyms for it, but I always say it like this: starting with the what, end with the why. So when you're trying to figure out what to say to somebody, you want to think of what their pain points are. What are the reasons? What are the needs that Plexus and the opportunity can fill? So think about somebody in your head and start thinking of why. Why did you think of them? And write those down. If you're new at this, you might need to write them down. If you've been doing it for a while, you can probably just grab them out of the air and start typing a message. But write them down if that helps. You see another mom. For me, I might see a mom friend, and she's tired and she's exhausted, and they're always pinching pennies. She tells me that she can't go on their vacation they wanted to do last year, or she's posting about how they're trying to save this way, or she's posting about coupons that she's finding, and I'm immediately thinking they need extra room in their budget. She's a stay-at-home mom who probably wants more interaction with people, and I'm making this list. So when I reach out to her, the first thing in my message is all of those things that I've noticed. And that's why I'm bringing this opportunity to her. Not just, hey, Plexus is really great. This is what it's done for me. I'm projecting it back on to her, if that makes sense. So I might reach out and say, hey, I love using the line of, I'm not sure if you've seen any of my posts or not, because I know we're both busy moms. I might make it light and sound just like me. But I thought of you because I know X, Y, and Z. I've been in that place before, and this has been such a blessing to me. Could I share my story with you? And that's how I'm going to message her. I'm not saying about how we're a legacy company and we've been around for X amount of years and we're debt free and all of the facts. I'm going with the emotion and the story. And so to create that story, start with the what's in it for them. And think of that, and then how you feel that need when you're wording the message. And start with the what, end with the why. The why is that I found Plexus. Can I share my story with her? And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and keeping it extremely conversational is going to be so much more rewarding. Like even for Amber, that conversation that she just opened up with that person, that's easy to send. it's easy to sit down with another person that you're relating over a topic over. She's definitely going to listen to what she has to say, and it's going to be more of like a back and forth exchange. And so I think of Amber when she first approached me with the products. Really, what we're talking to you guys about is approaching people with the business. That has a ton of power. You want to find business builders, okay? We did a Zoom this morning with somebody that told me that she's kind of dying because all her friends are starting to become Uber drivers and Lyft drivers. They're looking for a way to make extra income, right? And so, but Amber approached me with the products at first. And something that, when you were talking, something that connected to me is you don't know what people have been thinking, right? You don't know what they've been feeling. Amber did not know when she tried to expose me to the products that right before I went out on that trip to Tennessee, I had just had a moment where I had really tried to come to terms with the fact that I was overweight. I was super into fitness and health like I always had been, but my body had kind of turned on me for the first time in my life. And so when she was pushing the products on me, literally, I had okayed it for her. And we were literally having this back and forth exchange over the kitchen counter with a mason jar full of Slim that she was trying to get me to drink that I didn't want to drink. I had okayed it for her, but I wasn't going to drink it. She said, "Mom, you are always complaining about your weight. Like, you're very frustrated with this, so just give it a try." And what that did was that kind of connected with something I had already been thinking. Now, I realize we're telling you not to be pushy, but that was the relationship that Amber and I have. So that was a natural relationship, but she was connecting with something that I had actually thought. And so that is what you're doing when you're looking at people. There's one woman that I'm reaching out to right now on Instagram, and I don't know her, so she's a cold reach out, but I've watched a lot of her stories and things like that. She's really interesting to me. And so she's talked about diet. I've seen her try all kinds of different things, even though she's not overweight. But she's obviously interested in that. She talks about breastfeeding. She talks about saving money, kind of like what Amber said. She's into thrift store shopping. So when I reached out to her, and then she talks about being tired sometimes. She's got little ones. And so when I reached out to her, I said, like, I really enjoy your stories. So I'm complimenting her because I do. You're really interesting to me. And I don't know if you've ever considered looking at a different type of way to make money on your following, because you have a really big following. But I noticed you're into health and nutrition. You've tried a few things. You're into breastfeeding. And you also are really into saving money. Would you mind if we connected on an idea that I have for you? And so she came back with, sure, what is it? So we set up a time to talk. So that is kind of like what we're talking about. You want to connect with something for them that they would think about. When Amber was pushing that Slim on me, I was thinking about all the thoughts I had before I came out. Like, that was a moment for me.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry that I was like aggressive with you. I'm glad. But that's a really good example of your relationship with the person.
Yeah.
But it's also a good way to segue into remembering that you guys are sifting. So if somebody says no, or they're not interested, it's just that it's not the right time, or they don't have the right info. Okay. And not to get discouraged by no's or not interested. Don't let that slow you down at all. You just now know how to categorize that person. So if I'm talking to this big bunch of people, I'm putting them in categories. They said no, so they need more education and exposure. They said not now. They said yes and more info. And it's just kind of like sifting them as they come down, so I know what to do with them when they're in that right category. But if I get stuck on these no's, well, and I'm not bringing anybody else down, then your business is dying, right? You have to always be adding people to your funnel by the relationship and being in the conversation. But I wanted to talk about the Lyft driver and Uber driver thing. So for example, this lady girl we're talking to, she said that's the answer she was getting was, oh, I'm doing Uber, I'm doing Lyft. So obviously they have a need for more income and they just don't know how Plexus could fit that and how it looks in their lives. So they just need more education, or they're not at that point yet. So maybe in a month from now, they get a really scary person gets in their car and they're terrified and they're thinking, why am I doing this? And they remember back to the conversation that they had with the Plexus lady saying about how this could fit their needs. And it triggers, just like mom said, it triggers, and they're now ready and in a position to be open to that. But here's the catch. What if that one who told them about Plexus and they said no, that girl, if she never messages them again, or she stops exposing them because she thought it was a no, she didn't realize that a month from now they were going to be ready. And so she needed to continue to be in their face, in the way of in their Facebook feed, and connecting with them on other ways, to always be there. My goal is to always be there in front of my prospects, whether they're ready right now or they're not. And I mean that they see my face in Facebook feed or Instagram. I use Instagram a lot. They're seeing my stories. I'm commenting on their stuff. I'm always there. I'm always going to make it creepy. I'm always in the back of their mind. But really, for the person who just doesn't know yet, that is the way to get them to the point of interest. But so be okay with no's, be okay with not interested, and know that they're just in a different category and they need to be sifted just the same. They need to get to that point just the same in a different way. Does that make sense, Mom? Am I making sense in that?
Yes, it makes sense. And I want to say, this is something else that Amber and I talked about on the Zoom earlier today. Do not think, okay, first of all, when she says she's always there, if you follow Amber on Facebook or Instagram, she is not always there, always talking about Plexus. Mm-hmm. And people want to do business with somebody that they feel like they know. And so I love our industry, and I love Plexus in particular, and I love everything that we're talking about, because we're saying to you is we're saying you always want to be on the same side of the table with everyone. You always want to be looking at the same direction that they're looking at, and you're helping them see some things. Okay, you are helping them see some things and dream some things for themselves and realize some things for themselves and achieve some things for themselves. This is a business where you get to be authentic. So many times, I got to tell you guys, I got a big confession right now, okay? I post way more personal things, and I relate all my Plexus things personally, or I share testimonies, but people feel like they know me. And I have people, I reach out to them, okay? They join or buy from me because no one else in their feed, they might have seen a lot of Plexus, but no one else in their feed ever reached out to them. And so don't make that mistake when Amber says I'm always there. She is also going to be having that person follow back up with the Uber drivers. And yeah, so you're not always there incognito. You're there communicating with them on other things besides Plexus too. And the more that they feel like they know you and see your happy journey, not your salesy journey, the more it's going to entice them to look at something else besides what they're doing.
I just want to pause and highlight what you said in case anybody missed it. This is a business where you get to be authentic.
Yes.
And I know that's not in our topic today, but when you said that, I just almost felt like just fresh air. Be yourself, share your journey. Don't try to copy and paste somebody else. Be you. That's what people want to see. I'm kind of funny and dorky and silly on my Instagram stories. And I used to feel self-conscious about that, and that I had to look professional and have these, this image. And once I let that go is when my followers were able to connect with me, because I was really being me. So last week, I probably got 3 different messages of people saying, one lady said, I've been following you for 8 months And I've seen Plexus so many times, but I didn't realize it was a health product. I thought it was just a weight loss product, but I shared about it on my story, and she said, but you have so much energy. I want to be like you. Please send me samples and tell me all about it. And so that was just that. So many examples like that, guys, but be you and make sure, go to your Facebook wall, go to your Instagram wall, ask a friend, what are 3 words that jump out at you? Do you feel like you would know me from that? Because guys, the mistake people make is they're posting a quote or a recipe or something from a buy and sell trade, but they're not showing themselves. Show yourself. Okay, whole nother topic, but it's such a good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what you get to do in the conversation with the person too.
Yeah.
You get to share, you know, we talked last week about your story and kind of why you're doing this. So relating as people is what really works. Okay, so another point is working from appointment to appointment. Okay, so a lot of times people will say, you know, I don't really know where to go next with this person. So a really good habit to get into is before you end any type of conversation, you let them know when you're going to be reconnecting and get that buy-in from them. Do you have anything to say on that, Amber?
That is just 100% huge. Make sure you always end with, if you send a video, let them know when you're going to check back up. I'll message you tomorrow night and see what you thought. And if they say they didn't watch it yet, no worries. I understand mom life. I'll message you on Thursday so you can watch it tonight. You'll always be setting the appointment, because then you won't feel like you're chasing people and like, I sent the video, but she hasn't watched it. She's never watching it, that kind of thing. If you're always setting the appointment. And then really quick on that, if they keep saying no, they're not, or they're not answering you back on the second or third, maybe you gave them too much to look at and do and they don't have time. So then just give them the highlights. Say, hey girl, I know how busy it can get. No worries if you did not have a time to check this out. This is what you would have loved. Highlight 1, highlight 2. How does that sound to you? So now they don't even have to watch the video. But you're always either ending with a question or ending with an appointment, like you said.
Yeah, and about sending things, sometimes that can feel like homework for people.
Yeah.
So that's part of where you become, where you kind of know them, you know the cues, you do the tester closes, where you say, I can take care of this for you right now. Can you see how this is really going to help you? Let's do it. Some people need to watch nothing and they want no information. Okay. Believe it or not, it's like a high percentage. They want nothing and they need no information, and they will just go because they're tired of being tired, or they're tired of not using the bathroom. And
but you can halt that by saying, let me send you info, let me send you a video. And now they feel like they have to watch the video to make an educated decision, instead of they would have just left if you said, hey, send me your payment information and I'll get that taken care of for you and in the mail and on its way. Yeah. Right?
Yes, exactly. And another thing, if there is a person that wants to watch something, or they kind of, you know that you need to send them something relatable. People love themselves. And so if you say, when you get to minute 2 in the video, that is exactly you. That just made me think of you. Exactly. That looks like you, that sounds like you, something, because they want to be like, oh, what did she think was like me? Or if there's something funny in it.
And write it down. Being professional is not being pushy. 2 totally different things. Because I hear people say, well, they asked me for info and I sent them a video, but I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be pushy. If they asked for info or they said, yes, send me info, there is interest. It is not pushy to follow up on that interest. It is helpful. Because if they are anything like the normal woman or man, they are so incredibly busy. They want to get there, but they just can't get there. So it's helpful to give them that information again and again.
Exactly. And you don't know what they have going on in their life, but you know that they have issues that they're dealing with. And so asking for referrals is another point that I want to make sure that I talk about, because this is really big. Okay, we don't talk about this near enough. But if somebody says that Plexus is not a right fit for them, and you know that you're going to follow up on them, and you know that they're going to end up saying yes, and you know that they're going to end up with their own diamond documentary, It doesn't mean that in the meantime, you cannot ask them for referrals. You can say, I am growing this business. This works so well for XYZ. I know that you must know people that are either looking for more income or struggle with these issues. And I would love it if you could give me a few people to connect with and just see if it might be a right fit for them. That is a really powerful thing to say to people.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we could keep talking forever on this subject. We're at 30 minutes now, but let's just end with saying you have to be talking to people. And I love the thought of don't wait till you're perfect or you have it all figured out. Just start the conversations. If you don't run around frantically like, oh, she said yes, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Just talk. It's not that big of a deal. It's like talking about your favorite restaurant, right? Or a store that you love shopping at. Just talk and listen and ask questions and listen. And that really will take care of most of it if you're really listening and thinking about them. But all right, next time we're going to talk about what to do after you've started the conversation. And that's going to be really good too.
Yeah. So have a great week, guys.
Bye. All right.